Okay, so for this video, we're just going to go through an example of something that I teach, or just to give you a little bit of an idea of how I teach and some of the strategies I use. We're going to go into this assuming that this is the first time that you've seen this subject, that we're introducing it for the first time, and we're just going to go from there. Like I said, this isn't, I tutor a lot of different things, so this isn't exclusively what I do, but I just thought this would be the best example. The way I'm recording this, I don't have any share screen ability with me, but I did make this helpful little diagram, and we are going to learn about right triangle trigonometry and how to find the sides and angles of a right triangle. So first thing we got to think about is, say that we had two of the sides here. Say we had this side. This side, the hypotenuse is 5, and then this side is 4. It's like, okay, how do we find the 3? So for that, we've got to go back to ancient Greece, to a guy called Pythagoras, who reasoned that the square of both of the smaller sides of a triangle is equal to the square of the larger side. So putting that into context here, we'd have like we would square this. 5 squared would equal 25. It would equal 4 squared, which is 16, plus the other side. So it would be a squared plus 16 equals 25. We subtract 16 from both sides. We would get that a squared equals 9, and then eventually that a equals 3. So that's just a basic understanding. We could do it any other way around. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 25. You could do, there's a whole other bunch of perfect square trinomials that you can work with. This is just an example. So say that so that's how you find some of the sides. Now let's go to angles. So I just want to, there's this mnemonic device that's used with this, and I just want to say it with you a couple times, just because we want to drill this into your head. Like, this is a something that's going to be brought back up through a bunch of years of math classes, so it's just important to know it now so you never have to question it again. So you can just say it with me as I say it a couple times. It's so-ka-to-wa. So say it again. So-ka-to-wa. Alright, so basically what we do with that is the way that we find these angles given our sides is by doing their trigonometric identities. So there is sine, cosine, and tangent. Those are the 3 ones that we're working with. In order to find let's start with the sine. We have our angle here. Remember, so in SOHCAHTOA that's just saying sine. So what is the OH? Well, the OH is, we look at where the angle is, and then O stands for opposite. So we see the side that is on the opposite side of the triangle, and that's our value. And then we divide that by H, which is our hypotenuse. So is sine opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of this theta here is equal to 4 over 5. And we can do that with the other ones too. So cosine, remember cosine is AH. So that is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the cosine of this value would be 3/5. And then finally, TOA is tangent, and that is opposite over adjacent. So tangent of this theta would be 4 over 3. So let's just go back on that. SOHCAHTOA. So, sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Ka, adjacent over hypotenuse for cosine. And TOA, tangent, opposite over adjacent. Now let's say we had maybe one of these sides, and we had what this theta is. Say this is like a 45-degree angle right here. We don't know, but let's just assume for this question that it is 45 degrees. And we wanted to find, say, the hypotenuse. Let's say we had the opposite. So we can think about that as we have the opposite and an angle, and we're trying for hypotenuse. What part of, like trigonometric identity, SOHCAHTOA, includes all 3 of those sections. And I'll give you a hint, it's sine. So we would basically set it up the same as we were doing the past one. So sine, we know the theta value this time, of 45 degrees is equal to 4 over the hypotenuse. And then we can move some stuff around, and we'd find that the hypotenuse is equal to 4 divided by sine of 45 degrees. So that's just a way we can work between them. There's a bunch of different things that you can do with triangles, but for a right triangle, this is sort of the basics of, how you work with the sides and the angles. If you have 2 of the sides or a side and an angle, you could basically find everything else about this triangle. One more thing before we go, I do want to mention, you cannot do sine, cosine, and tangent off of an angle that is a right angle. It cannot be a 90-degree angle. You see these like acute angles over here and here. Those are the only places that can have, that we can work sine, cosine, and tangent on. You'll also notice that since these 2 angles are complementary, let's look at this theta value, sine. So sine here, opposite over hypotenuse. If we were on this angle, then this side would be adjacent, and this would be hypotenuse. So the sine of this theta value is equal to the cosine of this theta value. Just how things go together. But that's really the basics of right triangle trig. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be here for anything that you need. But that's basically a demo of how I tutor a class. I try to keep it engaging with the students. I try to keep it uplifting, and encourage them to ask questions, to just have a conversation about it. And yeah, so that's about it.